9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. This is where my journey begins. The sign said 1.3 miles to the falls. Relatively short trek on skis. It's the middle of January. The temperature is hanging right around 5 degrees, and based on recent temperatures, I would guess the falls are frozen over. But that's not why I'm heading there. I was invited out for a visit with a group of guys, some of whom have been camping here every winter for 46 years if my math is correct. Now that's more than just an annual trip. That's a tradition. When you're going somewhere, they say half the fun is getting there. Well, at least it should be. In this case, I'd have to agree. Quietly gliding down a peaceful, unpopulated trail through the scenic UP winter wilderness is inspiring. I had plenty to do before this day would come to an end, but I just couldn't get myself to hurry. Met up with Rod, Michael, and Kim, who were camping, along with Calvin and Jim, a couple of friends from past camping excursions who hiked in for a visit.
Calvin Kangas and I, we came here. We were bored. I was a junior in high school at the time, and we said, well, let's go winter camping. So we loaded up our snowmobiles and a couple of toboggans and parked up on top of the hill. Dragged everything down here, down to the bottom of the falls, down behind the falls, and went over on the other side where it was a nice little spot we camped at. And we came in through here, worked our way through and came out on the other side over here. When we came the first time, we thought we wanted to camp on the other side, so we came in here with our toboggans and pulled them on through. That was long before the bridge was ever put in, so it was the only way you could get to the other side. It's a crawl space on the other end over there, but we made her through there and into the other side then. Came through that little crawl space up there. We'd have to break the ice cubes out of the way to get through. Yeah, this is our first winter camping spot right here. Brings some good memories of being out in the woods. We abandoned it after about 2 or 3 years because it was hard to find wood. There's a big hill to climb to try to get anything to burn. So we didn't stay very long, but it's always been a nice spot and I always wanted to come back again. I had my Gamble sleeping bag and I think I slept in my boots and my snowmobile suit. It was cold. We weren't quite prepared for what was going to happen, but we had fun anyway.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works.
Rapid River Knife Works is the largest custom knife factory showroom in Michigan. The 10,000 square foot showroom is awesome. Hunting knives, pocket knives, and kitchen knives. Watch your custom knife being made and engraved. Free laser engraving with your personal message or company logo. Lifetime warranty on every knife and free sharpening. Plus, visit Rapid River Knife Works gift shop for Stormy Cromer and RRK gear. Bring the family and visit Rapid River Knife Works today.
We're a good mile and a quarter off the road, so, and I've done it where I've backpacked in, we've pulled toboggans in, and we've done it with snowmobiles. I've done it every which way you can. Snowmobiles, obviously, now we're trying to pack a little bit more in, but it works out pretty good for us now.
One year we could have taken four-wheelers in.
Yeah, there were people that came out and visited us on four-wheelers, and they brought ice out so we could keep our beer cold. Yeah, there's been many seasons that were warm, exceptionally cold. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah. You plan your week, and this is when we're going. Lately, it's been pretty nice that we've gotten towards not excessively cold.
I remember sleeping out here, it was 22 below, and you got colder.
29 below was the coldest. I can't imagine how I survived that, but we did.
First year that I came out in '74 was 28, 29 below.
Yeah. The big issue is wind chill. That's why we try to make some kind of a little structure to keep out of the wind a little bit.
When we innovated is the fire cover about 20 years ago, because the fire goes out every single night, as you know, and lighting a fire in the dark in the morning is a real challenge on your fingers.
That keeps it.
So we innovated this barrel. What we do at night when we go in is we knock most of the wood down, just what will fit inside the barrel, and we put the barrel on top of it to cover ashes and wood. And we also put the coffee pot full of water on top of it. And this thing will stay warm all night long. So when we wake up in the morning, it doesn't fail us. You can pull the cover off, stir the ashes a little bit, take a handful of kindling, perhaps some other finer material, but you don't have to strike a match, and the fire starts almost immediately. And so we light the fire once a week on most years.
On Monday morning,
and Monday morning, and we don't light the fire again the entire week. So this has been a real saver on something that's really difficult and challenging, especially on really, really cold mornings when the wind chill is sub-zero and your hands will freeze in just a few seconds. So
where did you hear
when the coffee's warm and the eggs are already cooked? I mean, it can't get any better than that.
There you go. That's a sweetheart.
We have a good day of coming out here. First priority is obviously getting the fire started. The next priority is getting the picnic table, which is loaded with snow, over next to the fire because it's frozen with ice. So that has to melt off. Then we shovel off the tent pad to put the tent down. Then after that, we get involved in trying to put some kind of a structure up to keep the wind off our backs.
It's most of the day by the time we drive from Marquette, get here, unload, drive in, prepare everything.
Leave at daylight.
The worst fear I ever have is to come in there and see the parking lot full and somebody already sitting in my campsite burning my wood. That is the worst fear I have.
We've got some pretty big groups out here. I remember seeing 12 or 15 people come out to visit you.
Oh, that Saturday usually is company day. You might have 15 snowmobilers out here or more.
Yeah,
you know.
and they come from all different areas too.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of friends, family.
Yeah, we used to sleep on the ground on pads, and then as we aged, it got harder and harder to get off the ground. So one of us innovated bringing a cot out to try and do that. We were a little bit worried about whether or not the air underneath the cot would be colder or not. So we had to double up on our pads, and now we have an extra sleeping bag underneath us. So my bag happens to be a 20-degree below zero bag with a 0-degree bag inside of it. And then we both have, he has an army bag, and we both have wool blankets over the top of it. We've been out here, it's been 28 degrees below zero on the actual temperature. And then Bruce Crossing reported a 50-mile-an-hour wind chill, including wind chill, that evening, and we've done pretty well. So for 6 nights, 20 years I've been doing it with Rod. He's been here since '72, and we've never had to leave or use any additional supplies or anything like that for getting cold. We haven't had to get up in the night and get by the fire or anything like that. So it's been a treat. We constantly innovate what we do. We now cover the tent too with the tarp, as you can see behind me. That helps bring some of the heat from the fire in here and helps us stay warmer in here. We've actually got 2 thermometers. There's one out here on the side of the tent. There's another one up here inside the tent, and there's actually quite a differential in here protected by the tarp. So that's something else we did with the innovation in addition to this little structure that keeps the wind and the snow off of us. So continue to innovate, continue to learn. We now use snowmobiles instead of walking in with toboggans and things like that. So that's what we now. The tent's new. It's only a couple years old, and as you can see, it's cozy and got plenty of room for us.
906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by the Island Resort and Casino.
Experience the excitement this football season. Be where the action is. Bet America Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino. Visit T McC Sports Bar to browse the latest lines and betting options, or build a bet on your time using Bet Builder online. Find everything you need to know on the sportsbook page at islandresortandcasino.com. So grab your friends and get in on the action, because there's a new game in town. Bet America Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino.
This is, if you Google it, they're called quinzhees, and I know a lot of the Boy Scouts do it. A lot of Boy Scouts will go out and they'll do this all the winter. But the secret is that right now it hasn't set long enough. I've piled it up here about 45 minutes ago. It really has to set for a good hour and a half or so for it to basically solidify. It crystallizes the snow molecules in there. Because I started digging here, and it actually came down a little bit, but it's only been about 40 minutes. And I'm not sure if it's going to really do it because it's so cold out, and I know the temperature of the snow with the air, if it's too cold, it's not going to solidify enough. So it might take me, I might have to wait 2 hours to do it. But pile it up as much as I can, and I figured, well, it's only going to be one person. So it's, matter of fact, I usually just throw it on there until I can throw it on top and it doesn't pile up anymore, and that's when I quit. But the sticks are pretty much for the depth. So you stick these in all the way around it, and when I go in here and I start carving out, I know I'm about 1 foot to 10 inches thick. And that's what they recommend. That way you've got a good insulator. And if it comes down, there's not much snow that's going to fall on you. But I've never had one fall on me yet, so it's... Matter of fact, this thing is so good that it keeps you out of the wind, and you figure the snow is at least 32 or 30 degrees or 30, whatever it is, and tonight it's supposed to be close to 0 or maybe even below 0, and it should be at least close to the same temperature inside. So it's going to be at least 20 to 25 degrees warmer inside there than it is when we're standing right now. So that's why I like doing this thing versus my tent, because the tent doesn't keep any of the coldness out. Well, this does, so it's a good insulator. So I'm just gonna pop a couple more in here. But the first year I did it was about 4 or 5 years ago with my son and I. We built one, so it was twice the size almost, and worked out quite well. Really, really nice. And what's nice about this, tomorrow at the same time you can actually walk on this thing after I take it and carve it all out of there. The problem is the sun's going down here, and I've got a good hour yet to take all that snow out of there, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get it done here in time.
The big staple has always been pasties. Boy, they work great when it's 29 below outside. But we do our share of making eggs and bacon, and you name it. A lot of my wife's leftovers are always great. Cook those up, froze them and cook them up the next day, or wow.
But the early days was bring a pound of bacon and a dozen eggs and some bread.
Yep.
And just fill the pan up with bacon and dump the eggs in there and
mix them all up.
Put some toast on maybe a fork stick, bread, and butter it up, and that was our breakfast, Yeah. But a pound of bacon and a dozen eggs is a lot of food for 2 people.
2 guys, but we ate it though,
yeah.
That was our main meal of choice, was pasties out winter camping. It was 30 below, you could eat it with your choppers on.
You gotta try this.
Come on. Okay. It's hard to stay warm when you're doing a lot of cooking because the fire doesn't get very big in the process.
We used to cook on the fire, remember, with the big fry pan?
One of those Big Daddy fry pans. You could put 2 pounds of bacon and...
You had that Walkman for a while.
Yeah, 2 dozen eggs on that one fry pan.
We cook everything in it. Bacon, eggs, potatoes.
You didn't see that, Jim?
Cook a lot of our meals.
Oh, okay,
now we got a little bit smarter.
This thing is huge.
And we're bringing our meals and just heating them.
They aren't burning, are they?
Oh, maybe the bottoms of a little bit of them are getting a little crusty. Might want to try them.
There's a fire down there.
Not too bad.
That one there in your right hand there.
This one here?
Yeah, pull it back a little bit.
Ooh, nice. Ooh, perfect. That was like that from the store.
You don't make them like that.
Ready yet or no?
Like that anymore.
My wife was making pasties, brownies, banana bread, homemade buns. Oh, she was busy trying to get all this stuff ready, you know. She loves doing it.
Oh yeah, get the banana bread out for everybody.
Yeah. I don't know, there's only one slice, so the hell with you guys.
Homemade granola.
Well, we split wood to keep warm. We make our breakfast. Everything you do takes you a lot longer than you would be in your home. And you eat, you have a few drinks, and to go out and enjoy the nature. Take pictures of the falls and walk through the falls.
And you go snowmobiling some here.
Yeah, halfway.
Well, we always go on Wednesday. We go to a buddy's house for sauna and stuff. So just as more of a social thing, have a sauna and come back. And
Most of the time, it's not very far away from the fire.
Yeah,
It's sitting here, talking, rehashing stories, enjoying nature, sitting right here, keeping the fire going all day long. Meals take a long time. Everything takes a long time. So you just stay right here, pretty much.
talking about our lovely wives and how they enjoy us getting out and doing our stuff, you know.
My dad even snowmobiled out here one time at nighttime.
Yeah.
He had a couple of beers.
And left, yeah. I mean, it's not just a bunch of guys. It's about family, too. Families come out and enjoy this stuff. And I've had people on that worst weekend we've ever had at 29 below, and they came out to visit. That I was amazed at. I thought nobody would show up. But they were here.
And I think, too, is people look forward to this as almost like the 4th of July. Let's go snowmobile and see the guys. You know.
It's that weekend. Everybody comes out.
Yeah.
Yes, it's that simple. Get your 906 Outdoors Cooking Wild Seasonings today at cookingwildseasonings.com. Today's Wild Game Break is brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Make it fresh, make it yours. Find out more at cookingwildseasonings.com. Ice fishing's in full swing here in the UP. Here's some tips from pro fisherman Mark Martin about choosing the right rod.
If you want to do things right and be comfortable and be able to detect every hit that you're going to have, you got different rod choices to make. If I was to go outside here and walk around, I'd want a longer rod than this. I could keep it closer to the hole while I'm standing up. I don't want to be bent over. In this shack, it's a smaller little otter shack. You want a short little rod because you don't have much roof room. Over in my lodge, my otter is about twice as big as this. My rods are just a little bit longer, so I can actually get a better, longer hook set.
You can hear it actually settling, but it's kind of like there's a cap on it right now, so it's on the outside. It's probably about 2-3 inches where it's pretty well solidified. So taking the guts out of it is it's not going to affect it. It's not caving in. So I can go almost to the. I'm probably about a couple inches away from the end of that stick, which is, it's probably about 15 inches thick in this area here. And I'm only about a third of the way done, so the tough part is when you got to get it in your back and you take the small of the shovel and actually shoot up in it. Yeah, there's not much of depth in there yet because I'm not even halfway through with it. You can just sense being in there where you're out of the wind, your body heat. I'll actually put a couple candles in there too for a couple hours before I go in there and sleep. I'll put a hole in the top, let the smoke go out, but I think because I'm not going to cover this hole so tight, any CO2 gas in there shouldn't affect me that much. I've never had any problem with it yet, just especially with 1 or 2 candles, but I don't want to take that chance. So I'll basically drag as much as I can from the doorway here, because when I get in there farther, I'll have to bring my actual sled down here, bring the sled in fill that up and pull it out. Saves a lot of extra work. In the opening here, I'll probably put another 6 inches here, and then inside where I'm going to sleep, I'm going to actually bring the base up, and they're probably about 10 inches. So all the way around me, they say put a trough on it. That way it allows the cold air to go around where your bed is at. So the cold air the coldest air will stay down the bottom, and if you're up out of it, you don't feel the coldest air. It just stays down low to the ground.
Yeah, get your rifle. But they were great. Martin saved them all.
Whether it's for one night or 1 week every year for 46 years, the peacefulness and solitude of the woods in the still of winter is captivating.
Well, we always came out on a Saturday. It was a one-day thing for us. But after a while, I wanted a little bit more of it. So I came out on a Friday, and the guys would come and join me on Saturday. And after that, I'd add a few more days and a few more days. Now I come out on Monday morning, and we leave on Sunday afternoon. So much fun. I just enjoyed it so much. I didn't get enough to do, or I didn't get enough where I wanted to do it all. And a couple of days just isn't going to do it. Too much fun. Enjoy it immensely.
I've been winter camping. It's not easy, and you certainly don't want to take planning lightly. Is it for everybody? I suppose not. But I think about anybody can give it a try. It doesn't need to be hard work. It doesn't need to be complicated. Matter of fact, that's exactly what it shouldn't be. It's about simpler things like spending time around a campfire, hearing nature and seeing things you otherwise may not have taken the time to notice. It delivers rewards that you won't find in a camper or even in typical warm weather camping.
Why would I want to go camping in a camper when I can come out here? The beauty of nature and to live off the land as far as that's concerned.
I think for me it was, I love to read nonfiction books about exploring North Pole, South Pole, cold weather survival. And I grew up with the old Boys Life magazines.
Yeah,
and I still have some of those. And that really inspired me to want to go out and sleep outdoors. I still to this day I want to go hunt out of a tent by myself during deer season, and
well, we've talked about doing that.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for you to say, okay, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this.
First time I just loaded toboggans up with sleeping bag in a tent and left from our parents' house,
which is what, 10 miles probably by trail. Probably?
At least, but just hook it up to
yeah.
snowmobile, an old Skidoo and an old Polaris Colt, and hook up and head up this way. And there was no grooming trails back then. We all
lived within 200 yards of each other.
Yeah. Well, Brian Hill it was called, I guess.
Yeah, Brian Hill.
Yeah, all three of us are neighbors. We all lived there and did a lot of stuff together, a lot of good times, a lot of saunas.
Yeah.
A lot of saunas.
Yeah.
There's some sort of unique satisfaction that unsuspectingly comes with it, an extra sense of accomplishment. It sure is peaceful. It's funny how easy it is to relax out here, without all of those things we surround ourselves with to help us relax.
That you can't get any better to be out in the great outdoors and enjoy it.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't do that, and the winter time is just as good as the summer.
I disagree.
You like baseball season, eh?
Baseball season.
Golfing.
Really? That's great. In the bag? Yeah, that was a one-dog night then. Yeah.